And we're live, guys. Welcome to yet another episode of Good Morning Crypto. Only here, only Ivan on Take, broadcasting live straight out of Stockholm, Sweden. And actually, we do this show each and every day, 8 a.m. Central European Time, 8 a.m. Stockholm time. Amazing to see all of you here once again. I want to wish you good morning, good Tuesday morning, wherever you are. Maybe it's evening, maybe it's morning at your place. Of course, we have a global audience. It will not be morning everywhere. And today we have a special episode because we have some interesting news and some funny news as well. Number one, we're going to talk about Ryan Gosling and his latest ICO involvements. You will soon find out what happened. Number two, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and this hype cycle we've seen and the fact that the number of transactions is getting pretty low. And then we have some other news as well. Before we start, guys, make sure to smash the likes, number one, extremely important. And number two, smash the little bell button so that you're always up to date. And also before we start, I want to remind you that if you go to coding.ivanontech.com, you can enroll in our new course where we will teach you number one, programming from scratch. You do not have to be a programmer, and we will teach you Ethereum, programming on NEO, and programming on EOS. So if you really want to learn smart contract development and you are not a programmer, be sure to enroll in the course, and if you enroll before June, you will get 50% off for this course. So we would really love to see you in the course. And first of all, let's look at the markets. We have the markets and they are slightly red, nothing spectacular, but still Bitcoin minus 1.7%, minus 1.7%, Ethereum minus 2.1%, Ripple has some more significant drop of 6%. However, 6% is really nothing in the crypto space. We see guys, coming out from stock market, they see these numbers and they freak out. I mean, 6% in the stock market is huge. 6% in the crypto market is, of course, not at all significant. Something that is quite interesting is Ryan Gosling. So Ryan Gosling, I don't know exactly which movies he is in. I'm not a Hollywood addict, but I mean, I know that he's famous. I've surely seen movies with Ryan Gosling. It's just that I do not remember movie names. If someone tells me what the movie is about, I will remember it, but on the top of my head I cannot list any movies he's in. But anyway, there was an ICO exit scam, basically ICO scam, that had Ryan Gosling as their experienced graphic designer with a clear focus on identities and illustration. And this is quite funny because you see, ICOs, they sometimes take a picture from a famous person, put him as graphic designer. They don't even care. Yes, they don't even care. I'm sure the people behind this ICO that exit scammed and people behind this ICO that had Ryan Gosling as their graphic designer, I'm sure they didn't even care. They didn't even know about Ryan Gosling, and in fact they didn't even have a white paper, because finally the creators were too lazy to even write a white paper, as a link on the ICO's website simply reads "white paper coming soon." And they also list some other red flags as well in this article that you can find in the description as always. And also, the funny thing is that, of course, everyone on the website was fake. All of these team members were fake. And then someone discovered that, you know what, the graphic designer is actually Ryan Gosling. And this blew up on Twitter, and as soon as this blew up, the people, these scammers behind this ICO, simply took down the website and took all the money, and that was really it, guys. So, as you can see, it is tragic. It is extremely tragic for people who lost money, but at the same time, it is so extremely funny. I mean, this has to be the most funniest, the most comedic industry of all times. In fact, I think we will look back at these times. We will look back at Carlos from BitConnect. We will look back at Ryan Gosling being graphic designer. It will just be so funny in hindsight. And also, I do think, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, I do think someone will create some kind of comedy show. You know that there is Silicon Valley, this comedy show about tech startups. I mean, cryptocurrencies are perfect industry to create the next comedy show because it is just so mind-blowing. There are just so many funny incidents that are both tragic because it's all about money. Of course, when we see scams, when we see Carlos Matos from New York City, it is always tragic because people lose money. But if you just take it with a grain of salt and you look from the outside and you look at from 10 years in the future and you look back, I think it will be very funny, guys. Next up, we have this interesting news as well about ICOs. So the interesting news is that nowadays large investors get get all of the profits when it comes to ICOs. Basically, what are we talking about? This article is very thorough, so you can actually read it and I think you will learn a lot. But the interesting thing is that the person describes that just a year ago or just 2 years ago, everyone was open to participate in ICOs. It was very open. If you had $50, you could use your $50 and participate in the ICO, get tokens, and probably get some profit if the ICO is successful when it comes to launching the ICO. And the interesting thing is that everything has changed. Everything now has changed. In fact, 84% of all tokens are being sold in private and pre-sales. And also you have KYC being more and more common, meaning that the normal people who live in countries where $50, for example, is a lot of money, they're not able to participate anymore. Because number one, you have KYC, it's difficult. Number two, ICOs nowadays may have minimum contribution, so if you have just a few dollars, you will not be able to participate at all. And this article describes this whole situation that we are in currently, that we as a community usually are excited about new projects, we do all the marketing, however, all that marketing goes to the large investors who bought in at private or pre-sales. And this is really a staggering number that 84% of all tokens are being sold in private. Definitely something to keep in mind. And this article is very, very thorough, so definitely read it if you're interested in this topic. And the whole title is ICOs, the community does the marketing, large investors grab the tokens. And definitely interesting developments and something you and I need to keep in mind, because we are changing. We're changing as an industry, we are changing as a community as well. Moving on, we have this news from Cointelegraph, basically describing the situation with Bitcoin transactions. So you may have heard that the fees are low. We have been covering fees on this channel for quite some time, and we've also been covering the transaction count. And the thing is, now it has dropped to 180,000, I believe, around 180,000 per day, transactions per day, and this is a 2-year low. And of course people are worried because or not worried, I would say more concerned, because the thing is that we are in these news hype cycles. And now I want to show you some stats. So as you know, on Good Morning Crypto, it's not only about the news, it's also about the stats. And now we have some early stats before we're even done with the news. But if you go to Google Trends and you take a look at Bitcoin, well, you see that we are at this huge decline since December. So Bitcoin really peaked in December when it comes to interest, when it comes to new people onboarding, when it comes to new people discovering Bitcoin, and you see that we have been declining since. And we have been on an upward trend since the summer, and basically this is a huge trend we've not seen in quite some time, downwards trend when it comes to discussions, when it comes to search. And of course, the Bitcoin transaction volume reflects this chart quite well in my view, that now we are seeing a decline. And in fact, this chart represents is not correlated not only with the transactions on Bitcoin network, it is also correlated with, for example, YouTube channels. The number of subscribers we crypto YouTubers see per day is highly correlated with this chart. So when we're talking about interest in blockchain technology, in cryptocurrencies, number one, we have to realize it goes in cycles. Well, for example, I think that during the summer we will get out of this downward trend when it comes to Google Trends, when it comes to interest, when it comes to search for Bitcoin, I think we will be in an upward trend again. And so therefore, the fact that we're seeing record low transactions could be a lot because people are losing interest, because the price hasn't shown any significant movements lately. And I would really recommend you to use Google Trends if you want to understand the world. And you can understand the world in many different areas and industries. I'm not telling you that Google Trends is only good for cryptocurrencies. It is excellent for cryptocurrencies because you can really see this interest trends, but it is also extremely valuable in other industries that you can actually foresee the future using these stats. Moving on, guys, we have this news from Cambodia, and they are thinking about their own national currency. So we have been talking about the fact that number one, we have Venezuela creating the petro, as we have covered many times here as well. Number two, we have Russia thinking about crypto ruble. We have Iran coming out as well, thinking about the cryptocurrency. We have Turkey, we have Sweden, now we have also Cambodia. And you can read in the article that basically the whole idea is that they want to create this project called EntaPay, and this is the project that is doing this cryptocurrency. They're claiming that it has potential to replace Visa and become the new mainstream payment mode. And I mean, something that I really want to explain to you, that I think I have done several times now, but we always have new people watching, is that different countries will create their cryptocurrencies because of different reasons. So you see countries, for example, as Venezuela, as Cambodia. What is their reason for creating a cryptocurrency? Well, number one, they can do an ICO and get capital into the country from outside, because these countries are very poor. And whenever we see, for example, Venezuela doing an ICO and bringing capital into the country, you get the question, of course, is this a scam? Can you really trust the Venezuelan government? Can you really trust that they claim they have all this backing for their currency? But anyway, the result is that there is a possibility of getting some capital from the outside, meaning you have more money in your country. So that is number one. Number two is that Venezuela and Cambodia, I'm not sure about Cambodia, but Venezuela for sure is under sanctions. So if you want to move money internationally, you as the Venezuelan government will have problems currently using the traditional finance system. Instead, you have a cryptocurrency, and now you can move it worldwide. And this is why we see Iran, Russia, all countries that are under sanctions can circumvent sanctions by using their own national cryptocurrency. So this is one group of countries. Then you have another group of countries, such as Sweden. In fact, Sweden, we're also creating our own national cryptocurrency. Why is it so? Well, because Sweden has become cashless. You cannot buy anything without having a bank credit card. You are basically no one without a bank credit card. And our central bank looks at this situation as a threat, because if you think about it, all the financial relationships are done through a few private individuals, or not individuals, private organizations. We have a few private banks that handle all of the financial transactions in the nation. And of course, when the central bank looks at this, they do not want that. They do not want this layer of banks between themselves and the user and the citizen. Because what if a natural disaster happens? What if a war or something else happens? We have an emergency situation in Sweden. Well, then you need to rely on these few private players to do their job for Sweden even to have financial transactions at all. Instead, Sweden wants to create their own cryptocurrency. The central bank wants to create their own cryptocurrency so that you can transact without being a bank customer. And this is huge. So you see one group of countries trying to circumvent sanctions, trying to get capital into their country. Another group of countries, such as Sweden, are just becoming cashless, and central banks see it as a problem. And that was it, guys, for this episode of Good Morning Crypto. Amazing to see all of you here, guys. I mean, we have almost 600 people watching live. I want to wish you a good Tuesday. I hope you really have a great day, and I hope you have a successful day. just smash the like buttons if you have enjoyed this episode, and smash the little bell button, and I will see you very soon. And we do Good Morning Crypto each and every day, 8 a.m. Central European Time, Stockholm time. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye guys, goodbye, have a great day.